Hey, everybody. It looks like we are live. As you can see, I have somebody here with me today. I got my girl, I got my sis, Angela. Angela, go ahead and let the people know a little bit about you.
All right. Well, hello everybody. My name is Angela Adams. I think you've seen me here with my sis before, but it for those who have not, I am good friends with her. We're real life friends, like people who know each other in real life. So when she says that, that's not, everybody can't say that. That's us. We're real life friends. I'm a cosmetic chemist and I work for myself. My company is Definitive Formulations. So I help design and do manufacturing of custom hair care product lines. But we are sisters in so many things, business, in faith, and we love a good topic. So when she invited me, she calls, I come. So here I am.
Y'all, I've been knowing her. We initially met. We are part of the inaugural cohort of 1 million Black women, Black in business with Goldman Sachs. And so we went through that process together, graduated together. And like she said, we're real life friends. So when we're in the same city, we're going out to dinner and hanging out and all the things. And she's a really amazing person. And if y'all, let me tell you, in this season we're in, you gotta have multiple streams of income, right? If you don't, I feel sorry for you. The way these tariffs hitting, if you are a entrepreneur, content creator, and you want to have a beauty brand, she's your go-to person because you need a chemist in your life to get that formula together, all the things. So please reach out to her. She's doing some great work. I ain't saying that just because she's my friend. That is the real deal. She's doing some good stuff.
Well,
And
thank
here
you.
soon, you'll see some stuff I'm trying out with her. Once I'm ready to roll out with some beauty care products. But tonight, y'all,
Ooh.
y'all, goodness, I was living my life, minding my own little business, and I see a dress, and I'm like, at first glance, I'm like, oh my goodness, because if I'm just being honest, at first glance, I thought it was showing the woman privates. I really did. And I thought, oh, I'm like, they showing this? I'm like, I know it's 2026 and some of anything will pop up on your stream, but I'm thinking they are showing this woman. And I'm like, let me call my girl. And so that's how we ended up here. But Angela, the first time you saw that, what did you think?
Well, at first, it's like you said. It's kind of hard to get shocked because we've come so far. But the first thing I noticed was I thought, whoa, it kind of caught my eye just like you.
Yeah.
And then I thought, isn't that the pastor?
A preacher, y'all.
Isn't this the So is the pastor with is that the first lady? That was what I thought.
I honestly, y'all, y'all let me know if you watching live replay. But initially, I just want to know: did you realize it was flesh, or are you like me and thought it was sheer? Because in it, like just at first glance, I thought it was sheer, y'all.
Yeah.
I thought it was sheer, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I cannot even believe
Hmm.
that. And out of all events, out of and in which I realize gala, fundraiser, that sort of thing, you're gonna wear an evening dress, right? And we've been places, contrary to what you might think, we've been places. I mean, I don't know about you, sis, but I've been to a gala and had to put on my little evening gown and everything. But I'm just thinking, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like I I understand different settings require a different outfit, right? Like what's appropriate for me if I'm going to worship service, that same dress I may wouldn't wear to a gala, right? You know, you're gonna get something more
Yeah. It's for
just
attention.
eye
You know, when you go
catching and
yeah.
you know all the things.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a combo of things. It's the appearance of nudity. It's yes, it's a secular function, but as believers, questions I have is when can we leave our biblical standards behind? You know, I think that comes into question. So they're all kind. I think there are layers upon layers. Once you get past the shock factor of
yeah.
wait, is that nude? No, it's not nude, but it's so close. And
Yeah.
where are we going? And it wasn't just some people are like, oh, they're just a couple of hypocrites. Oh no, so many people. It's been a buzz for a good week, right? Uh,
Yes.
to the extent that they had some other minister come to their church to rebuke the
Yes.
offense of all of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it wasn't just an isolated handful of people who ain't never been nowhere who didn't
Yeah.
understand.
And and then what killed me? Jealous. Like honest, you know, y'all, let me tell you, Cassandra, I'm just a woman living my life, doing my best to live out God's plan for my life. I'm not, you know, Oprah or nothing yet, but let me tell you, I ain't jealous.
No.
I'm not jealous. I
No.
don't think anybody did. I think the people who had to voice their concern, it's not jealousy.
Right.
You know, it's so many level. One thing right now, we're living in a time where so many people are no longer worshiping right, going to a worship service. And this is one of the reasons why. Like people who actually call themselves believers, people
Right.
who say they love God, are justifying things like this.
Right.
You know, and you have people who aren't trying to live for anybody, right? Not trying to live for God, don't even believe in Jesus. No, who would say that okay, that's inappropriate. You know, that's just inappropriate, period. And so when you find that believers are going even beyond what people in the world would accept as being okay, we got a problem.
Yeah. Yep. We got layers upon layers here. You're exactly right. So, whereas if this was the Grammys and it was just any other actress or performer,
Yeah.
rapper, this would
It,
not be a topic of
it,
discussion
it wouldn't
because
even be
that's the world, and we know anything goes in the world, right?
yeah.
So, but when we in the church want to look like we going to the you remember the thing they had at the what was that the Grammys, the nude after party where the women were going with the knit dresses on. This looked like the church version of the naked party.
Yes.
All right, because it gave the appearance of nudity without
Yes.
being nudity, right?
Yes.
So are we trying to get into the nude party without getting all the judgment of the nude party? That's where the whether people believe it or not, that's part of why it catches people off guard. The other thing too is, I think that as people of faith, we have to be very mindful of our intentions, you
Yes.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Because as this thing unfolded, do you feel like everybody knows what we're talking about? We're talking about the pastor Jamal Bryant and his wife. For anybody who doesn't know this, that's what we talk
Unless yes, we are talking about the dress that broke the internet, which
about. Yes.
um it's in our video description. But yes, in case y'all wondering, we're talking about the dress that broke the internet.
Yes.
Miss Bryant
Yes.
dress broke the internet.
Yes. So a couple things that caught me off guard as the story kind of unfolded over several days, right? So we got the
Mhm.
because I didn't see it until I saw the picture. Picture was first for me. Then
Yeah.
all this like, what's all this chatter about?
Yeah.
And then they started, with the defense, right? So I
Mhm.
saw the defense message, and there
Yeah.
were so many things in there that people need to kind of understand.
Yeah.
Because for one, the man, the minister, used the
Mhm.
pulpit to address this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, he has a podcast. He's got all kind of social
Mhm.
media, but he used his
Yeah.
pulpit
Yeah.
to rebuke people who were trying to give him some correction and feedback.
Yeah.
But while up there, he said several things, and what's really amazing to me is in 2026. We know we're being recorded. We're gonna have film footage, so I got a chance to see/hear him say that if you don't have a woman that other men, I'm using a different word than he used, want to ask you, how'd you get that? Then you need to go get you another woman. So are we at the point now where we are parading our
Mhm.
our God-given spouse for the visual approval and jealousy of other
Mhm.
men?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what really concerns me is that for women, especially Black women, many of us find ourselves in unhealthy, toxic relationships as is.
Mhm.
And if we're talking about being psychologically abused, in my opinion, within a context of you're in a relationship, well, I don't know, you're married to a minister, and for him to exploit you in that way, and not only for him to feel it's acceptable, but to do it in a pulpit and have a congregation say that this is acceptable, it's no surprise that so many Black women, particularly, and sometimes I get pushed back for this when I say Black women, but when you think about abuse, violence, Black women, we top the charts.
Mhm.
We find ourselves in unhealthy, toxic relationships. And I don't know, I don't personally know them, but that sounds like a toxic relationship.
Yeah. So, one would think that you would want now, a man should admire the beauty of his wife. No doubt
Yes.
about that.
Hmm.
But to look for the validation through the eyes of someone else, you're off track. He
Yeah.
also went on to say that if you don't have somebody that you lust after, and he used different words, that look forward to coming home to, but if you don't have somebody you lust after, get rid of that. And he called him a booger. Get rid of that booger and get you somebody that you look forward to coming home to.
Yeah.
So as a aren't we instructed in the Bible from a biblical standpoint that you're supposed to love and honor the wife of your youth? We don't get to trade our wife in for a hotter model, because frankly, women don't trade men in when the hairline starts to.
That part. And when that stomach, when you get that pot stomach, we're not saying, well, I'm ready for a upgrade,
Right.
right?
Right. That's not God's plan. The recycle, what's that? The lease model where you get one
Yeah.
and keep it for 2-3 years, then start to wear the new car smell is gone. Then you trade it in, get you another one, and you never
Yeah.
actually own one. That's what that sounds like. What that is, the lease model.
Yeah.
We just gonna keep them
Yeah.
as long as I guess we are attracted, or maybe as long as other men think they're attractive. If that's what because both seem to be important to the pastor, whether another man thinks she's attractive. So that's all problematic, all of that.
Yeah. And then my issue with that, yes, you should find your partner attractive, definitely. God words speak on that. When you look at Song of Solomon, that whole entire book, that's what it's about. Those two being attracted to one another. So in the context of a marriage, yeah, that's fine and dandy. But if I'm married, my attractiveness and certain things on my body, no other man should see.
Right.
It's for him.
Right.
For him to get happy about, feel good about, whatever about, not for just all me in society at large,
Yeah.
because even when you look at God's word, Jesus himself, when he was talking to um, the people in his time, and it was brought up about divorce, right? And he mentioned that Moses allowed a certificate of divorce, but he says that, unless a person has committed adultery, you don't have a justifiable reason to just divorce and remarry, right? And even in that context, he mentioned about having lustful thoughts and that being adultery, right?
Right.
So your thoughts, your turn on should be for your spouse. That's it, and
Right.
that's all.
Yep. And did you see the interview where the asked he was asked, so when did you first see the dress on? He said for the first time as they were getting ready to leave to go to
Mhm.
the event. So then the
Yeah.
follow-up question was, and what was your first thought when you saw her in the dress? And his response was, well, why do we have to even leave the house? So it immediately invoked thoughts of lust,
That part.
and y'all proceeded to leave the house
That part.
in the
And
dress that it invoked lust
that
before
part.
we even got out the house.
And I don't know about y'all. Y'all know the show. I don't even want to say the name of the show in case my channel end up going viral. I don't want to infringe on any other content creator out there, but you know the show. But what killed me is in that same interview, right? It was X. Did you anticipate any problems, right? Did you think it would cause it? And you answer no. But in the like you just said, Angela, you just said when you saw the woman in the dress, you was ready to we out for the count. We not going to this event. It made you have that thought, right? So if it made you think that, why would you not think the next man would think the same thing?
Right.
Make it make sense.
But and when to me, when you start doing that, I think that's another thing as Christians we have to watch is she softballed them in the interview, just gave them chances to share some things that were a little bit unclear. Where'd this dress come from? Who picked this dress out? Because
Mhm.
he's made a big show. I bought the dress. Did you pick? You didn't actually pick this dress out. So
Yeah.
she has a part too. She didn't just put on the
Yeah.
dress you picked for her. Like you kind of
Yeah.
alluded to that. You kind of
Mhm.
misled people to believe
Yeah.
you picked the dress out, which he did not. She
Yeah.
picked the dress out and all that. But moving beyond that, she softballed them into this. And there just isn't any accountability. No, no, nothing's wrong. Like you said, did you think anything? Nope, never thought anything of it. Nope, 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 never thought anything of it. I always want to then go, okay, let's test that out. If this dress is perfectly fine, everybody else is crazy, everybody else is jealous, nobody's ever been anywhere, this is
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So if we took the praise dance team of young girls and we made their next outfit just to model our leaders, the first lady, who's also a minister at this church, because she's supposed to be a
Yeah.
leader, right? If we
Yeah.
let the young ladies put this on and praise dance in front of the congregation, do we see it? Is that going to be okay? Because y'all 100%, you co-sign it day, night, left, right. It's not age appropriate. It's not location appropriate. You say, wasn't nothing wrong with this dress. And everybody that says it is just crazy, crazy and jealous, and ain't been nowhere.
I-
Those the only reasons why you won't like this
Yeah.
dress is either you're jealous, you ain't been nowhere,
Yes.
it's nothing about it's inappropriate. So we're gonna put this on the young girls. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The usher board and
yeah,
all that. J-
right.
You know,
The motherboard.
but because it's fine. It's
Right.
nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
It's us. We're like you said, we're jealous. We hadn't been anywhere. We don't know. We never been to no formal event, so we just don't know any better.
Right. And interestingly, you just don't see any men wearing how sometimes people go and they have
Mm.
complimentary outfits.
Yeah.
I wonder if they sell a man's version of that.
But my thing is, and,
Not that we
and this
want
is
to see that. We don't want to see that.
do not,
I'm not asking for
guys.
that.
If it is a man who is watching the channel, I know most of my tribe is women. But if you're a guy and you happen to be watching, please don't do it. Do not do it. We don't want to see it. Didn't want to see that.
Right.
Definitely don't want to see you.
Right.
Don't do it.
Right.
But and this is the thing that concerns me, because it's okay for a woman, right? It's okay for her to be gawked at and just treated like that's your worth, right?
Right.
And even when you think about her, look at all what she brings to the table. Your intelligence, all your and you want to be known for something like that. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. And he mentioned it. He said the fact that during this event, over $4 million was raised, nobody's talking about that. He said she prayed. And she prayed I don't know what he said, prayed the ceiling down or something, alluded to she really gave a powerful prayer, I guess, in this dress. And nobody's talking about that either. Goes to show that y'all let your desire for attention overshadow so many important things. This was the United Negro College Fund fundraiser.
Yeah.
So I'm
All
pretty
the
sure there were
more
some people of accomplishments, but all we can talk about from that entire event is the dress.
the dress, and that's it. And Angela, another thing about that, when you think about UNCF and where we're at right now in this nation, I recently was reading that most adults here in the US are reading on a sixth grade reading level.
Wow.
And that really broke my heart to know that so many people in our society are not where they need to be in regard to literacy, you know. And so when you think about education, especially for Black people, we're in a place right now where they're banning so many of our books, our history. And you're going to an event that's about education, college education, and you, God has blessed me. I have a few degrees under my belt. College isn't for everyone, but for many of us, it can open doors,
Mhm.
right? And for us to have the opportunities that we have, and right now in real time they're doing their best to take those opportunities from us. You chose an event like this to dress in such a way that the issues that really matter,
Mhm.
like us having access to education, us having access to books that tell our history. These are the conversations that should take place at an event like that. But instead, in your convoluted thinking, you thought, because to me, any adult person, right? You don't even got to be an adult. Kid, a teenager would know that me wearing this is going to make me the center of attention.
Right.
And that was your goal at a time like this.
Right. Yep. Yep. Exactly. And what in the previous weeks we have had Mackenzie Scott. She's able to give millions of dollars to HBCU without event, without scandal.
Without, you helped so many HBCUs.
Yeah.
And we know with our current administration, many of these HBCUs have not gotten the funding that they deserve.
Right.
You know, all the more reason that the focus should be on one,
Hmm.
this isn't the administration money, first of all.
Correct.
Let's just get that. Is yours, is mine, is all of ours because we're taxpayers,
Correct.
right? And so let's get these monies to the HBCUs who they've already been earmarked this money.
Right.
That's one of the conversations that should be had
Right.
at an event like that. And that's why the fundraising this year was so important.
Right. Yep. Yes. So
And
I
so
know
it's like, how dare you?
yes. Yes. So we had, I think that was the first pebble in the when you throw the pebble of this activity, this thought process they had, the first ripple was this event and a distraction from the importance of the event. But let's talk about the other ripple effects that this has, because you really have a heart for us as women, and this is a leader. She's a leader in the church,
Yeah.
which is one of the places that we look to in our community, right,
Mhm.
for guidance,
Yeah.
for the next generation. We want that to be a safe space
Yeah.
for the young ladies, and even the ladies, all women, right? The church should be the safest place, the place where we're learning how to live in the way that's pleasing to God and live an optimal life. What do you think about the impact, just if we switch over to modesty, like you were really kind of alluding to?
Yeah. When you think about in terms of modesty, I think it confuses so many people, especially young ladies, young girls, because now they're torn. Normally worship is a place where you can go get guidance, see leaders who you can emulate, right? And so when an individual who comes from that world transforms into, I think, and I like, it made me think of Lil Kim back in the day, right?
Yes.
Because I could remember, I don't know what show it was, but her and I think it was Junior Mafia, maybe, but she performed and half her breast was out, right? But it didn't create a lot of hoopla. I don't even remember what award show it was. I'm aging myself now. We're back in the 90s, y'all.
When you said
Um,
Junior Mafia, you did.
yeah. But it didn't create a lot of hoopla because it's like, okay, it's Lil Kim and she, that's her style. That's, she's prerogative. And so I think when we think in terms like that, modesty, you don't, in certain arenas, you don't expect it. But then when you have someone of faith who crosses over into what people who, just being provocative, doing them right, are doing, it's really confusing. And then I think, I know especially for those who've been on the channel for any length of time, you know that I am an advocate for domestic violence, and I support women who have experienced domestic violence. And I know a lot of times in those situations, um, most men start with psychological abuse.
Mhm.
And so I think even in the church, the lines get blurred when you think about modesty, and men think that's okay, because when they think that's okay, they're normally looking at you as property. And if they're looking at you as property, it's going to increase those chances that where you're going to be mistreated.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's a long answer to that question, but it really does raise some red flags, because now it's like, I don't know, I was looking to this person, and now this person, not only is this person saying us okay, but look at all the women there who's like cheerleading.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when he got up, and I don't know, did he consider that a sermon or what he thought it was, but whatever it was, look at certain camera angles show women standing up, like
Mm-hmm.
clapping or, showing their support.
Yep. Well, and here's the thing that I think also has to factor into this, because the first, I would call it deflection or pushback you get against the concept of calling something out and saying it's not modesty is that you say, well, you're trying to control women. Okay. So I always like to peel things back to what do you know to be true? Okay. You know to be true that men in this society, and we can't talk, you got people over in Africa, there are places and women don't even wear shirts. Let's not even talk about that, right?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about that.
We here in the US of A.
Here in this here United States of America, we live where men have in every aspect of our society, they have a more powerful position. Do you think there's anybody that will argue that?
If they do, I don't know where they've been. They've been in a cave somewhere. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
So aside from athletes, if we set that to the side, okay, we set the athletes to the side. You got the most powerful people in the United States of America would be on the male side for the most part. They're going to be leaders. You got politicians. Mm-hmm. You got, business owners, business leaders, CEOs, people like that are in that circle, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
If your body was so empowering that you show your body, then they would be doing it, right?
But they don't.
But they do not. So when people try to argue that being able to show my body is empowering, that's confusing to me how you come to that
Mhm.
conclusion when the most powerful people, you never see them without their clothes on, yet they are without this somebody's president had the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize fly to the United States to give him her prize with her name on it.
Wow.
That's today. That happened today. That don't really have to do
Mhm.
with what we're talking about. But he was fully
Yeah.
clothed when that happened. And we're glad
Yeah.
about that, right? Let's
Hey,
go
we
on.
are
We're glad
so
about that. So,
like,
no matter what, there's really this whole idea that it's empowering to be able to show your body is
mm,
it's just crazy to me. It's
yeah.
it's actually disempowering because the connection between the more flesh people show and the like you just said, the fast track it takes to objectification is 0 to 60, right? The
Yeah.
fewer clothes you have on,
Mhm.
the less humanity people are willing to actually give to you. Like we were talking about our young lady who got shot in the feet, right?
Mhm.
There is no circumstance under which this young lady should have been shot in the feet, right? She
Yeah.
had no weapon.
Yeah.
So if any US citizen, let's just call it that because we're talking about the
Yeah.
US, if
Yeah.
you get shot and you are unarmed,
Mhm.
people for the most part will say you were the victim.
Yeah. Mhm.
In this case, where this young lady is regularly objectified
Mhm.
by the marketing around her
Yeah.
brand, the music, all of
Yeah.
it,
Mhm.
the discussion was who was she sleeping with, what, all of
Yeah.
this. And you're like, how on earth does who you sleeping with have anything to do with the fact that you were unarmed and somebody shot you? That should have never happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's okay to do that. I think that's completely deplorable. When I heard it, I was like, that's disgusting that they would even bring
Yeah.
that up and
Yeah.
try to mitigate the fact this lady is a victim of gun violence.
Yeah.
But this objectification, had that been Michelle Obama, that might not have been the leap that people jumped to.
Yeah.
They might not have
Yeah.
asked who Michelle Obama slept with before she got shot. You see what I mean? So I think they have, and should that be? No, but I think those
Mhm.
are unintended consequences that people need to
Mhm.
understand, that this
Yeah.
immodesty can lead to the objectification. And
Yeah.
once you're objectified, whether it's violence from a partner like you were talking about, or just public opinion, is that it makes you less than, not more powerful, right?
Yeah. And I just want to throw this out here, ladies. Let me tell you, in my experience, many of the females who dress in this way do so for male attention. And let me tell you that a man, if you're looking for a man that truly is going to care about you and respect you, he would never want you to show your body in a way that's degrading and demeaning. He will not. A man that really cares about you, respects you, he doesn't even have to love you, but if he cares about you and respects you, he is going to want your body to be covered. And that's just point blank, period. Because in his mind, he's looking at it, you're my woman. And this is something that I want for myself, not for my homies, my partners, my He does not give a crap what they gotta think. Now, they may feel like his homies, partners, whatever, may be like, "Oh, your woman look nice," and yeah, that may make him feel good, like, "Hey, yeah, I'm glad you find her attractive or whatever." But he doesn't need that validation, right? A man who truly respects and cares for you. So do not think you have to dress that way to keep a man. Even if it's your husband, you do not have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my commercial. But I wanted to make sure we stated that because I know in my own lived experience, I ain't saying I'm just, a saint or anything. I do believe in God and I live to the best of my ability. I try to reflect that in my day to day life. But I know in the relationships I've been in, I have never had a man to want me to. I could be. I could be in the house in a house coat and just want to go get the mail, and he could be like, "Girl, what you doing?" So no, if he got any kind of care, that won't happen.
Right. Right. And it's interesting, the whole biblical, back to the biblical reflection.
Hmm.
The king that's of Esther's story,
Uh huh.
we love
Yeah.
we love the Esther part, the beauty, the grace, all that part.
Yeah.
But people forget that king was not a godly king.
No.
And he had a wife before Esther. I
Hmm.
remember Queen Vashti. And
Yeah.
what he did was what the pastor did. He basically called during the celebration they were having, called for his wife to be paraded around for the admiration of other people. And she refused to do so because it's not, that wasn't the appropriate thing to be doing. So she actually refused, and that got her taken out of position as queen, but she stood for the right thing. And he was, in history, he goes down on the wrong side of history as an evil king. So to be in the pulpit advocating that, yeah, I want to be able to show my wife and have other people admire my wife, is that kind of king's behavior. Not God, not man of God behavior. Right?
Yeah, so
Not man of God
true. That is such a great example in which Vashti held her own,
behavior.
right?
Right,
She didn't say, "Well, he the king," and I'm no,
right,
she didn't go.
right,
She didn't go. So do realize that's an option,
yeah,
um, because even as wives, a lot of times, even I feel like in church, when we hear the word submit, a lot of times as women, we feel away, but we're submitting to one another, right?
right,
It's not this man is like your parent. That's not healthy.
right.
He's to love you as Christ loved the church. And Christ loved the church so much he died.
Mm-hmm.
He died
Yep.
for us to have everlasting life. He died. So when a husband who's doing what he's supposed to do, he's willing to die for you.
Yep. And and a wife in her, a woman, and ultimately, if she becomes a wife, in her God ordained position, is an easier kenegdo from Genesis, which that's the Hebrew for what the woman is, not the helper. That's not what God said. He didn't say helper. That's what King James came up with. The word is easier kenegdo. That means someone who comes alongside him and is able to do things assist him in ways so that they can accomplish God's plan in a way that he cannot. So, for example, to populate the earth alone, Adam couldn't do that. He needed her. So together they could accomplish what Adam alone could not. That's the easier part. And connecto is to go against or towards. So if Adam is on the right path, then she can support him. But if Adam is off path, then she needs to be strong enough to correct him so that they can stay on God's path. That's the connecto part, for and against. So in this situation, they played Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
picked the dress and he
Yeah.
co-signed the dress.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think even when we think about it in the biblical, and that's really great you brought that up, because marriage, especially when you're talking about people of faith, we should be helping one another grow closer to God, right?
Right.
And so one of us should have the strength, the courage to say, well, like, hey, this isn't God's will,
Right.
Because to me, if I'm a husband, and I see that, or like the first time I see you put it on is the day of the event, and I see you put it on, I'm gonna be like, oh, baby, I love that dress, but let that be one you wear just for me.
Right.
And I already know in that closet you got plenty of evening gowns, right? Because here I am trying to figure out how to make things happen and pinching pennies. And when I get a gown, I normally get at least two. So I will have a backup just in case. So, I mean, to me, with the kind of money y'all got, and you say people jealous anyway, surely she got some more gowns in that closet, right? And so you could have just said, well, baby, put on another gown.
Yeah. Yeah, because that night they chose to look a little bit more like Kanye and Bianca. Am I? Are we, so we might be off path if we look like Kanye and Bianca.
Oh, and we got to talk about this before this. Okay. Initially, we talked about like our initial reaction, right? When we first saw the dress. And it's like those first few seconds, you don't realize it's flesh, you thinking sheer. But then what really blew my mind is when they did a side by side of his ex wife in a gown that kind of similar, right? But with her background, it wasn't, and no shade against ex-wife, but just her, it wasn't like a big topic, right? But when you place those two women side by side, I'm like, OMG.
Yes. Yes. We have a pattern.
I'm like, OMG. I did not realize, because First Wife, I used to watch Real Housewives. I don't now. Y'all do too much. I'm sorry, y'all do too much. And I'm at the age now where I feel like, look, we done outgrown this. But done seen the woman on there, right? First on there. Really, this second one, I never really paid a lot of attention to, so I didn't realize how much they looked alike until this whole thing came about. And I'm like, this not right.
You got a type, and this is a pattern.
I'm like, oh, I'm talking about hair, skin tone.
Yes.
Like you went and found what like they sisters, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Cousins or something. They could pass for being related.
Right. Right. Yeah. So we're after our type, and we've seen that with yet another pastor who had a wife from the world, and that didn't work out, and then he remarried, and he's twirling the second one around, only for people to go, that one looks really very much like the first one in both appearance and attire. So, um, you have a type, and this looks like a pattern,
Yeah.
So I think people have to be mindful of that. But
Yeah.
I think that reprobate mind is like that, and so it keeps you going after the very same thing. The day changes, the players change, but your mindset isn't changing. So here you are back involved in exploitive display of your wife, is what those side by side show. Did they not? Fully clothed man with the woman with, each woman, either the appearance of nudity. The first picture was actually really sheer. It actually was sheer.
Yeah.
It wasn't the appearance of sheerness.
Yeah.
It was sheerness.
Yeah. And I was just like, goodness. And honestly, even now, when I see the dress of current wife, I still have to look good, because the way the dress is designed, is a little bit sheer. Then it starts flesh, but as it goes and reaches the area, right, that part about near looks sheer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really does. And it is just like, and this is why, even as a woman of faith, I've always believed that I worship God, because any man can get in that pulpit, right?
Right.
And I'm worshiping God. I believe in Jesus. And it's on me to get in his word and determine what he desires me to do for my life, because any man walking this planet is flawed. We all are. We all sin and fall short. But the thing is, when you realize that, you repent, not like what this, and this is why I hate this, because it shows that no, we're just gonna go full throttle in it even more instead of just repenting.
Right.
But y'all, stay with God. We need God now more than ever. Get in his word on the daily, stay in it. And if any man is telling you something you don't see in the Bible,
Yeah.
that's it and that's all.
Yes. So maybe we need to bring back choir robes. They don't know anything about that.
They don't know. These young folks don't know. But just
Yeah, because the robes actually, and I'll hit that, and we're gonna I'll let that go. But I kind of brought that up to be funny, but the choir robe was intended because this isn't new, right? This is a spirit, right? This spirit of lust, this spirit of attention seeking, using aesthetic, appeal is just kind of driving people and wanting people to lust after you and get validation through that. That's not new. So this ain't the first time, but that's what the robe was for. So we could all keep the focus, since we're in a focal point in the sanctuary, to keep the focus off of the individual bodies in the choir stand and focus on the delivery of God's, the song to, the praises for God's. Likewise, the minister used to have a robe on. You would know that, right? They don't remember that. So we can't see the pastor up here in his skinny jeans and his all the things, because some of them are doing that, right? The thirst trapping pastors too. Uh,
Hey, out there. Just, it's called private for a reason, y'all. It's
right,
called private for a reason. If it's private, it's for you to see
right.
and whoever you married to see.
Yep. And so we used to have, choir robes. The pastor had a robe, and so it was for that, to help people not have to make these individual choices where they struggle with that spirit of voyeurism, right? I really want people to look at me, make the focus about me and not the focus about God. And I think, also we have to always keep that in mind. We're here for the glory of God. Yes, he wants us to be, he made us beautiful, but we don't have to use that as currency by overexposing our bodies or giving people the impression they're looking at our bodies in order to gather attention.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great way to end. You don't have to dress next to nothing to realize you're beautiful. You're beautiful however you choose to rock out, it will be fine. Someone who's deserving and worthy will know your beauty. Um, Strolling the bottom of the video, and it's also there in this video description. You will find my link tree, Hilla Cassandra. For if you're a woman who's listening and you feel like you don't have a voice and you're ready to level up in using your voice, I highly recommend going to my link tree Hilla Cassandra. You will see a link there. A good buddy of mine is hosting the Speaking Industry Expo. Kelly Charles Collins, you may have heard of her. She is a beast. Um, and when it comes to speaking as well as speaker development, but you have a voice, it deserves to be heard. And even if you're not looking to be a professional speaker, you just want to strengthen using your voice in life, I highly recommend you attend the event. It's going to be in Atlanta, I think in March, I believe. But when you go to my link tree, you'll see a link for that and it'll give you all the details. Angela, do you have any parting words for the people?
Oh, just maybe they grab a copy of Love Letters to My Girls. I love this
Oh,
book, y'all. So it's a shameless plug from my sis here. Because I think that, in all things, it's self love, right? So you're not looking for love from somewhere else. You got to learn to feed it from within. God is love, and He can actually help you without needing that external validation that leads people to this path of immodesty. And tell her about Love Letters to My Girls.
yeah, well, my sis already put it out there. Love letters to my girls. I'm blessed to be one of the authors of this amazing book written by a little over 100 Black women. We came together to remind us of just how worthy we are as Black women. So you'll find a little over, it's actually 116 love letters in this book written specifically for Black women. I have had other women to get a copy and enjoy it as well, but it was written for us, by us. And one of the wonderful things about getting the book right now, of course, it's going to increase that self love, but I am also gifting copies of that book to young ladies at HBCUs right now in the states of Alabama and Arkansas. And so when you do purchase a copy, you're making it possible for a young lady to be gifted a copy so we can make this self love revolution of Black women the new norm. So you'll find a link for that love letters to my girls there at the link tree, Hiller Cassandra as well. Don't forget, for those who are ready to get a additional stream of income and you're ready to create your beauty product, head on over to my girl Angela. I'll be sure to put her details in the video description as well. And y'all already know, I am always wishing you love, health, and happiness. Until next time, stay blessed.